Hey, what's up, L3 family? It's your boy Nev Massey right here on Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. I gave AJ Foodie and Sean Wins the night off, so I hope you don't mind looking at my ugly mug, but we have a special presentation tonight. We want to do something we've never done. I mean, we're still a new podcast, but we still never done it because tonight is episode 7. That's right, and we have a special edition where we're going to take our segment we call Sip on This. We're going to extend it tonight because we need to respond to what's happening to a dear friend of ours, Bishop Marvin Sapp'S. Some of you may have seen the video. It's a viral video, and it's kind of taken out of context, but there's a lot of opinions out there, and we just wanted to give some clarity on what happens in the church world. So I have a special guest tonight. It's a pastor friend of mine, best friend, homeboy. We go way back. He's going to be with us in just a few moments, so you don't need to go anywhere. Sit tight. It's going to be a slapping episode tonight with our guest, Pastor Dwayne J. Logwood of FMBC out of Belleville, Michigan. We'll be right back.
Award-winning singer, bishop, and pastor of the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth, Texas. Joining us this morning is a friend of the show, Marvin Sapp. And good morning. Thank you for joining this morning.
Thank you.
And listen, let me say this. I'm not here to exploit the situation. You are my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm a real friend. I'm a loyal friend. You understand? And I haven't even talked to you this week.
No,
I know your phone was blowing up, but I had sense enough. But everything that you sat here and said during the commercial break, I already knew. You don't have to explain that to me. I grew up in the church. And in your own way. In your own way. Let's start with the attacks that are on you and the death threats on you and your family.
Well, let me just start.
Just whatever way you want to start.
Let me just start by saying first, Ricky, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your show and for you to use your platform to give me a chance to just, add some context.
Yeah. Some
context and clarity to, a clip that, a whole lot of people have seen. And sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, that I raised the money at my church, that I kept the people at my church hostage until I raised $40,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared, that I locked folks up at my church, that, I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Yeah.
I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out. They've taken issue with my tone. And I can honestly say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more assertive than I should have been. And I can apologize for that. I can apologize for that. But three things I need to make sure that people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget for their conference, not Marvin Sapp. Number two, it didn't happen at my church. It happened in Baltimore. Number three, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers. Anybody that goes to church, ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering. One of the reasons being is because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's also about security. As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening all over the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention center. But the doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't. And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats over $20 and shut the door. People have come to our campus. They have come to my church to try to cause problems, issues, challenges. And again, my children, I don't look at comments. We talk about this. I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it.
Right.
My children do. And they are afraid. And the reason being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. They're afraid for my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my thread and stuff. And all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming anybody because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money so that I can help the organization that has been such a great support to me. These people.
And again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
And where did your money come from?
I've been blessed. I've been extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records. Millions. I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from? And we on Radio Live.
Right.
How much have you gotten paid from your church? I'm just saying.
Okay, so
tell
see,
me
Ricky,
what you said during the commercial.
I'm gonna tell you. What people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring. I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years. You can call the church. You can ask them. I pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month to my church. Wow. $30,000 a month to my church to ensure that the church could go forward. We had a lot of stuff. I had a college campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses, and my membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership, it dwindled, but we never lost anything. And as a matter of fact, this is factual. The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt-free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas.
All right, y'all, welcome back. We are here about to start our segment, which we call Sip on This. Now, again, this is an extended version because you just watched the video, and so did we, where we saw Bishop Marvin Sapp on the Ricky Smiley morning show, basically giving some narrative and some clarity as to what it was that he was doing and what he was raising the money for. So I have with me today Pastor Dwayne J. Logwood. What's up, Doc?
What's going on, my man?
Hey, how are you, man? You good?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Blessed to be here.
Hey, I'm glad you came, man. Thank you for coming to the invite. I just felt it, very pertinent to bring on a pastor, man. It's I could have did it, you know what I'm saying? But, you're a face that they never seen before. This audience have never seen. So I just figured, let me get my boy to come while I gave AJ and Sean Wins the night off or whatever. But tell us, man, in your own words, what did you think about the clip? Not the clip we just saw, but when the clip came out You had your phone. I don't know what you probably doing prayer or something. I don't know. But when you saw the clip, take me back to that moment organically when you watched it. What was that first feeling when you watched that clip?
Man, I was laying in my bed scrolling through social media, and when I came across it, immediately my spirit was quenched for the simple fact I said, here is another black eye on the church.
Okay.
Here it is, another attack on the black church.
Okay.
And I was sitting there like, here we go again, another narrative for people outside of the church to have an excuse for them not wanting to come to church. I say, here it is, another staged clip that looks bad on the church, another snippet, another soundbite without context.
Come on.
That makes the black church, you hear me when I keep saying the black church, it's seen in a negative light. And right away, it was very disheartening. Right away, I'm like, here we go again. But the meat and potatoes of it is said, listen, here we go again. Somebody taking something that's old.
So you knew?
I knew
when you watched this snippet or this clip, you knew it was old footage?
I knew it was old because it was at a conference. It was at a convention. It wasn't at his church, and it was nothing that was just recent. You know, like many of us pastors, we know what's going on in the church world, right, and understanding it was a PAW convention.
Okay,
and their convention was not this year. Right, it's only March, April. Right. So you know, and right away it's like, here we go. And the spiritual sense or side of it is the fact that isn't it just like the devil to bring something old into the present and act like it's new. Yeah, right.
That's good.
You know, like only the devil want to bring something of old, bring it into your right now and make you feel the consequences of something like it's taking place right now. So number one, it's old.
Like it's fresh.
It's fresh. Like who? Like what spirit was behind the fact that somebody seen this, cut it, the clip, edited it, and published it?
Didn't post what he preached.
No, didn't post it.
He could have preached a bona fide, chain breaking, shackle destroying word.
None of that. None of that. They didn't even put a clip of him singing. They put a clip of the offering segment, a portion of it, and posted it, and everybody gravitated to it like it happened this year, like it happened right now.
So I'm hearing you. You know, it happens all the time. The internet, it never fails. Like they say, internet don't lose.
Never has lost.
The internet on your head, like you know. I have something that I want to insert here, where you said, "Here it is again, another attack on the black church, a black leader, etc." But do you think that we could do a better job, we leaders in the ministry and in the faith? Do we have to broadcast? I mean, we know he wanted to get those that are watching strong viewership. You know, again, I don't know nothing about 1,000 people watching on none of my services that I preached at. Not yet, you know, but I don't know nothing about that. But I think that we need to retweak some things. Like I've told other pastor friends of mine, it's not good to do an altar call on live. You know, it's a personal thing. That's kind of an in-house thing. I think that we need to do less of that online. I know COVID pushed us online, and now it's a thing. You know, some people still have not come back from being at home. But do you think that we need to make some adjustment? Do we actually need to have our online giving time or giving time? Should that be online?
I would say you can't get around it. In this time, I was broadcasting live, and the reality is, like, broadcasting live and doing offertory moments, this is nothing new to the church. It's new to so many others in church. When you look at G.E. Patterson, the Bountiful Blessings Ministry, he was doing this 30 years ago.
Telethons.
You know, they've been doing Benny Hinn. You go back to Benny Hinn. You go to TBN. No, they've been doing this for 50, 60 years. This is something that I was raised on watching it with my grandmother.
Good point.
Right. So this is nothing new. I think now with the advancement of so much negativity on social media, now people can put their own opinion, their own rap, or whatever they think upon it, and now make it go viral with things of that nature. But if you think back in those moments, G.E. Patterson would have had a whole lot of viral moments with some of the things that he said.
He was a very blunt.
You know,
he was very straightforward.
Yeah. So this is nothing new, but the reality, what those guys back then understood, to reach the masses, you had to be online, right? You had to be on the air. You had to get people opportunity to sow their seed, right? So I remember countless times my granny, man, she was a committed giver.
Mine too.
Right?
More Sorello. You know more.
Oh yeah, she was sowing all those.
My grandma, she couldn't make it to none of them conferences, but she sold to more Sorello and PTL.
Yeah, she sold to my grandma. She sold to all Earl Roberts, more Sorello, Benny Hinn, all those.
Jimmy
people.
Swaggart,
all of those, right? But they was on television.
Yeah.
Right, was the old people's social media.
You raised a good point, man. I'm glad you you went there with it. Yeah,
and then she will write the check.
Sure enough, bro,
and send it to the church. Right.
Facts.
So I believe you can't get behind it. And then, as I speak personally for myself, pastoring now almost 8 years, it wasn't until the pandemic that the light bulb came and said, I need to be streaming online, right? Even though I seen that growing up, seeing the television ministry and all that, how now I was like, wow. So I'm only affecting the people that come into the building.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. You know how many more now you can affect and you can reach and you can touch through the airwaves, right? So the light bulb finally go, and I'm late. The light bulb finally go, and now I'm reaching hundreds of people at one time, thousands of people that go. And now during that time, we're not in the building. We're only online. That was the most money. The church was, so it's like.
You raised another good point. And so had you not done that, it's quite possible that the church would have.
The church doors would have closed.
I ain't want to say it. Because even when I was pastoring, then we had an online presence, and it was the online presence that saved us from not having to put chains on the doors.
The doors would have closed.
Yeah,
but because we had access to online giving, that people was able to watch the sermon. It wasn't even told service. It just watch me preach a sermon, just me and the camera, and have an offertory moment where they be able to give online. Yeah, we was able to give away thousands of dollars. Wow.
So y'all was giving
month.
Back?
We gave.
I remember during that time you was going to the hospitals.
We went everywhere.
You were feeding nurses and
we went everywhere.
Yeah, I remember.
We went everywhere throughout Metro Detroit area, everywhere, and we gave back to the community. And it was a church, and we, as a church, we didn't receive the PPP loans. We didn't get anything from the government. What we was given was from people sowing
contributions,
from tithes and offering. That we was able every single month. We was able to give thousands of dollars every single month. I mean, we blessed so many people. We paid people's rent. We paid bills. We furnished homes. We put mattresses and living room, bedrooms, all these things. We did so much. I mean, not countless food drives and things of that nature that we was giving away. All these things that we was doing was because people were giving. People were sowing tithes and offerings. It gave us a capability of helping so many during that pandemic.
Wow, we're gonna get back to that, but let's go back to Bishop. Let's go back to this video clip. You saw it, another attack on the black church, et cetera, et cetera. But Could you agree, my friend? And Bishop, you know I love you, man. You know I preached on last Sunday in Grand Rapids, and I spoke to you. You may not ever see the video clip or whatever, but I grew up with you. We grew up. You know, I sung with your brother Darnell. I mean, you know, we got ties. So this is not that moment of bashing, attacking, or any of that. But I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Could Bishop have said it differently? Could he have tweaked his packaging a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
so that the unchurched wouldn't crucify him.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. You know, you can always Monday morning quarterback something after the fact. Yes, you know, packaging could have been. Yes, it could have been better. But you have to understand the atmosphere he was in. He was among his peers. He was among his people. And when you are comfortable among your people,
church culture,
yeah, you can let your hair down. Yeah, right. So when
I guarantee you, nobody in that whole building felt the way the internet made it seem.
Nobody.
Because why did it take a year for it to surface? So that means nobody got on their face like, I can't believe I came to this conference tonight and Bishop had the audacity to tell the ushers to close the door. I've been in dozens of services where I've heard a pastor say close the doors, or ushers, can I need somebody on that door? I mean, I pastored in Chicago. When we raised offering in Chicago, we had armed police officers that were in plain clothes at our church. So let's talk about that.
So no, he was among his people, and when you're among your people, you can talk to your people without them being offended.
Yeah,
it's people outside of the church that was offended, and you have to understand, given a context to the reality, he was at a church convention. It wasn't even a regular church service. So meaning he's at the PAW, Pentecostal Assemblies of the World convention, where people from around the world had to get on the airplane.
Yeah.
People around the world had to rent a car.
Travel far and wide.
You had to travel to this convention of meeting of the minds to come and have a church service. So somebody who, with that intention, I got to get on the airplane, I got to rent a car, I'm staying there for multiple days. This is a community of believers that understand the workings and outer workings of church, right? So they come from near and far to a convention center, and he is given the task of raising an offering, a budget offering for the evening. And everybody knows with a convention.
So when you say convention, for those that may be unchurched or watching, I don't know if anybody's watching, if you've ever been a part of Kojic or any of that, like those assemblies or fellowships have a annual yearly conference or convention to where all assemblies, all those connected or affiliated to that fellowship come and gather for about a week long and have services of other speakers, performances. It can be recording artists. There's big budgets that go along with these conventions.
Absolutely.
I mean, big budgets. I mean, because they want everybody to be blessed. And so we know in church world, it's all about contributions, right? I've never seen a Coke sponsor a convention. I've never seen Pepsi or Ford, General Motors. You know what I'm saying? There's no sponsors. I've never seen that. Have you?
No.
That might be a good idea, though. They might want to.
Potentially
thousands of people, but I mean, they're consumers too.
But so you have to really gauge. It was probably very few at heart that came to that particular service who were unchurched. Right. This was not
safe to say.
This was not a regular Sunday service where you would have unchurched.
There was no tent revival.
No, it wasn't tent revival.
You out on the corner with a couple liquor stores, out a couple homeless.
A regular church service where you would have people coming off the street to receive Jesus Christ. When you have those conventions and those gatherings of churches, the focus is not on evangelism.
Right.
The focus is on the gathering of brothers and sisters together.
Those that are affiliated,
connected, in partnership with whatever denomination that is. So getting back to what you said, could he have packages? Anybody could say, yeah, he could have. Because the tone. Now they said people ridicule the tone and things of that nature, but the reality is when you are talking to your brothers and your sisters when you're talking to your family.
It's
You know what I'm saying? You're not.
It's house talk.
Yeah, you're not. Oh, your tone, because I'm not offended by what you're saying, because I know your heart.
Yeah.
Or I know you. This is how we talk. And it was not at his church.
Can you imagine though? Just sidebar, being one of the ushers. Like, I want to know. And when I watched the video, I want to know who that usher was. He was saying, "Close the door."
They wasn't closing it.
Because he said it. He didn't say it mean or firm the first
but they
time.
wasn't closing it.
So they clearly, it puts in your mind, they were like, "Close the door." Like, close the door.
Yeah. They wasn't moving.
And they looked at the head usher and thought it was wondered if it was okay. Yeah. And
they
close the door.
They wasn't moving fast enough.
He said it 4 times. So I want to know I would love if somebody could tell me who that usher was on that door. I need to get them on a Zoom interview. I want to talk to them on this podcast and see if we can find out why they drug their feet on closing the door.
They weren't moving. They weren't.
That made them look bad.
No, here's the thing. I really believe it may not have been the hesitation of them closing the doors. I really believe the fact that you have numerous people steady walking out or coming in, walking out, coming in during that moment where he like close the door, because literally as I'm talking, people are leaving.
Yeah,
right.
It gives us, that in our mindset, we're safe to say or assume that had to have been the case. Being raised in church, for him to even say close the doors. People like to tiptoe. They put their finger. They think they're invisible. They like to walk out of church like they disappear, like they turn to Casper the Friendly Ghost. I see you. Your finger. What does that mean?
I don't know what it means.
Excuse me for a minute while you raise. I gotta use the bathroom. But you've been sitting all this time, and now you got to go to the bathroom.
And we understand being churched from since I was from birth.
Yeah.
Raised in church, right?
Pajamas, there's shut-ins.
There's 3 times where you don't walk.
He said it in the video clip.
You don't walk in prayer. You don't walk in during altar call, and you don't walk during the offering.
Yeah.
Right. And so when it's prayer time, them ushers, they do it at my church.
And I would even throw a 4th one in there, Pastor Dwayne. I would even throw in even during worship. I can't stand it. If we worshiping, hey, either join in. I don't want to see you walking during worship either. Yeah, I'm sorry. Those are all special moments. Especially I'm talking about worship. I mean, praise songs. Okay, you might get away with a little bit of action. Yeah. But if the service transition into a heavy worship situation, even in that moment, you should feel weird. I mean, for those of you that go to church and you're a walker during that slow, somebody getting a breakthrough, they crying, they worshiping, the people are crying out. Read the room. Go ahead. I just want to say that. Read the room. It's not a good time to walk.
Yeah, so we understand that.
You can't walk in no courtroom.
No.
When the judge coming, all rise.
Yeah.
You stand your brown skin self up.
Yeah, we
you better take your hat off.
We align with every outside of church. We stand when the judge comes into a courtroom. We stand when the president comes in. But when it comes to church, we have this like disdain for order. We have this disdain for protocol. Like it all goes out the window when it comes.
I'm ground.
Yeah, when it comes.
Tell me.
When it comes to church.
Yeah.
And it's just so disheartening that you have people that would take a soundbite, make it go viral. But this is what really affected me as a pastor, is that you had church people engaging in making this moment go viral. Mm-hmm. You have people that's been connected to church, that been in church, that's helping push this negative narrative on the church. Right. And what I told my church is like, the reality is we are all one body. Mm-hmm. We are in this thing all together.
Come on.
So, making such an issue and sharing it and having so much negative to say about it, you're talking about this church as well. Talking about that pastor,
our brother.
You're talking about your own pastor, right? Because we are all one body, and when you
and these are the practices
facilitate,
and these are also the practices that we also abide by as well.
Yeah. Well, I told my church about, we, I know, because I had people in there, Pastor, you ain't never locked the doors. You ain't never, you've been pastoring here for 8 years, Pastor. You ain't never said close the doors or lock the doors in the church. I said, you right. You're right, because we ain't raised that type of money in here. Y'all don't give that much for anybody to come in here.
Wait.
We don't have to lock the door.
Pause. So essentially, you told your members, we don't have to worry about locking doors because the amount that you all are giving is not worthy enough for anybody to close and lock some doors.
Well, I told them like this. I said, if somebody came in here to rob us, they're gonna leave disappointed. So we don't have to. I don't have to lock the door. I don't have to lock the doors. I don't have to tell them to shut the door.
They good. Y'all shut your hands towards that robber. Bless him, Lord. Let him feed his family. Go ahead. Let me get off of that because I don't want to offend nobody. I don't want nobody to be offended.
No. But I was being,
you was being facetious.
I was being facetious, but I was being truthful at the same time.
For sure.
But I did tell my church that I am praying for the day that we do have to lock the door
for security measures.
For security measures, because the people are giving in great amounts. That we can do ministry on the next level, and we can be a help to so many more people. Yeah, I told my church, I want this year. I want to be able to. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a cars. You know what I'm saying? I want to bless people in great magnitudes. Yeah. You know how we see certain other ministries give away $50,000. How we see people. I know Brother Todd. He get a lot of flack, but he's giving away millions of dollars to other pastors that may have been struggling or going through or doing a work where he's giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time. So I want to get to that level. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get that if you don't have people giving. Yeah. You don't have people sowing into the ministry.
And they have to have that mindset, and it has to be in their heart too.
Yeah,
we know giving is attached to their heart. You know,
giving is always a heart mindset. Yeah. Because people, they was tripping over the $40,000 and the $20. He had $20, for $20 offering, and it's $40,000, and it's like, you must understand that ministry costs. Yeah. Every time you walk through those doors, there is a cost associated to it. Yeah. And Bishop Marvin Sapp understood the assignment. Mm-hmm. We are at a convention. We have a budget that we have to reach.
Clearly, they must be short, and we're led to assume that they raised an offering already, a general offering. And that mug must not have hit what it needed to hit. We've been in church culture. We've had to have a second offering because when they came back and passed that little piece of paper,
said, well, we not meeting budget. Somebody not gonna get paid.
Pass that piece of paper, and the head senior leader of the convocation passed it on, whispered in Bishop Sapp's ear. Be like, can you?
Yeah. And somebody's not gonna get paid, and what you must understand, everybody doesn't have the heart of the pastor. So if the budget's not met, the pastor don't get paid, that's fine. Yeah. But the guy that's on the keyboard, the guy that's on the organ, the guy that's on the drum, the guy on the bass, he came there with expectation.
The convention center.
I'm working. I need to get paid.
Ain't no telling what that tab was at the convention center.
Yeah, and this is not a church building. This is not a church that we have a service in that's paid off. Yeah, it's a center that said to rent this place for a week is going to be $200,000
to facilitate the capacity of that crowd.
You got all that stuff. So is a budget associated with convention, but it's a budget associated with ministry. Yeah, it's a budget associated with church. And when we understand why is it such a problem for people to give to the church? Whether you want to get on the soapbox, tithes or offerings, or tithe and offer, whatever, why is it such ridicule when it comes to ministry and giving to church, as though the church does not operate with funds? Right. It takes money to operate a church. Period. Operate ministry. It costs to do that. So understanding, just like it costs to run businesses, just like it costs to run your own home.
Yeah.
You can't, you can't tell DTE by faith I'm paying or
we good for it.
Yeah, no, you gonna have
DTE. We good for it. Can we get another month?
They don't care how good you sing. They don't care how good you preach.
5 people got saved this Sunday.
They don't care how many people got saved. If you don't pay that bill, you're gonna be worshiping God
in the dark.
In the dark.
We're gonna have a candlelight vigil on Wednesday night.
No. And so you have people that jump on the soapbox. This is really just, oh man, it just got me fuming.
Talk to me.
Fuming when people say, this is why I don't go to church. This is where you got pimps in the pulpit, right? Okay, the reality is, let's go here.
Go here.
You got bad actors in every profession. Right, you got bad doctors. I mean, we had a doctor. We just had a doctor who just got convicted and went to prison because he was diagnosing patients with cancer so he can get the money.
Yeah,
right. We had doctors. The doctor at Michigan State who was sexually assaulting the athletes, female and male. Yeah, sent to prison. You had a doctor who got caught on camera. Right before surgery, while the patient was under anesthesia, sexually assaulted her right on camera. So you got bad doctors. Yeah. You got bad police officers. You got bad police officer George Floyd. You got bad police officers. You got all bad police. Yeah. You got from day one. You have bad police officers. But let's rewind. But just because you have bad doctors, if you get sick, you're not going to the hospital. Just because you have bad doctors, you're not going to get the opinion of your doctor.
Just because you're in trouble in the domestic situation at the crib, you're not going to call 911 for the cops to come.
You ain't don't call me. Somebody breaking in your house. You gonna call
the police.
You gonna call the police.
But they bad police though.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yes,
there's some bad.
Come here, Lena. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's some bad actors in every profession. Yes, there could be. Yes, there are some pimps in pulpit. Yes, there are some preachers and pastors that have taken advantage of people. Yes, in every profession there are some bad actors. Yes, man. I driving here. I seen 4 churches on one block. Yeah. So 4 churches on storefront churches on one block. The block looks terrible. Maybe some pastors God did not call the pastor. Maybe you need to apologize to your pastor instead of starting a church, right? That so you can have some effect on the community at large, because it don't make no sense where you got 4 storefront churches in one block and the block looks crazy, right? So yes, they are some bad actors, but to say that's why I don't go to church because of that, when you look at the reality of
stop the cap.
Stop the cap, please. And because now I'm speaking.
That ain't why you ain't going.
I'm speaking personally,
please,
and some people that I'm connected to. Because some people that said that, especially on my
in the comments
that's come on my page.
Oh Lord, right?
That I say wait a minute. When you came to church, you didn't give. So I when you was connected to the church, you wasn't a tither, nor was you a seed sower. So to say you don't, that's why you don't give. You didn't give when you was going to church. Can we pull the rap sheet on you? You didn't give when you came here, right? And the people that had the most to say about that's why I don't go to church, the pimps and the poor, that they just want your money. You never gave no how
in the first place.
You never gave. You never gave in the first place. So when you really understand that giving is mandatory for the believer, is mandatory for ministry. Listen, you can't have a membership at Planet Fitness without giving them $15 a month.
Period.
But how is it we feel that we can be a member, we can be connected to the body of Christ and come to this place where we are fed spiritually, come to a place where our needs are met, come to a place where we are being strengthened and healed and delivered and set free? How is that? And we can come here and in good conscience never give. Or give so little that it's not helping,
right?
To the capacity that it could, because that's when it goes back to the giving is of the heart,
right?
And we really have to get back to the the necessity of people who are connected to the body of believers that giving is a must, but it's a matter of the heart. And so when you talk about tithes, because I had people in the comments, man, these people was going crazy in the comments, man. Because I put a post up that said, you know, I'm tired of hearing this Marvin Sapp stuff on my timeline, you know.
Word.
And I had some people they went crazy in the comments talking about some, you know, tithing is about food. You know, tithing is you know,
because they brought all the food to the storehouse. New Testament. When Jesus out there preaching, he ain't bring no money. They brought their goods, man. And because see, and I gotta say something from a preacher standpoint. I don't know if he's about to go there or not. That's agriculture. Back then was a big grain. Remember the story with Joseph in the Old Testament and everything like that? Like a lot of the agriculture, that's why the heathen Israel, children of Israel, they had so many struggles because they looked at other religious factions and they said, why are they blessed? Why are they blessed? Because it was like they had more agriculture, more food. Remember when they went to a famine? So that's just another part of it. Like we don't look at sage and herbs and spices at value because we can go down aisle 18 at any grocery store and get any of those. But back in the day, those things had high value.
Yeah. Food was currency.
Yeah.
Right. So like this one individual that was going crazy in comments. I'm like, well, if that's what you believe, then bring your food to the church. We can bless somebody.
Bring them steaks, cuz.
Yeah, we can bless somebody.
Yeah,
we can bless somebody with it.
That's good.
But the reality is, why is it the church is the only place that's supposed to survive on food?
Yeah.
And not currency and not money.
Ah, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? So like that blows that literally blows my mind. But when you understand that it was currency, we know Brother Job, the Bible says he was the wealthiest man in the land. Well, when you look at the structure of what Job had, his livestock, which is food, but it was currency, right? So
trading,
whatever
bartering,
your currency is, money is our currency.
That's good. You better teach.
Right? So
teach on this here podcast, man.
Is our currency? Then that's what we're supposed to give. Yeah. So miss me with
don't biblicize everything now.
miss me with the it was food and things that bring that may be food in my house. Miss me with that because that is not the currency that will facilitate.
Look at was it Mary that was holding her oil.
Expensive perfume.
Expensive perfume. And then when she felt like she needed to repent, she washed Jesus's hair. Washed his feet, with her hair and the oil, you know what I mean? But that oil, what did Thomas say to her? He said, don't you know we could have sold that oil? Remember he got mad at her?
It was Judas who was mad.
It was Judas?
Judas
said that? Judas
was upset.
Yeah, he said, we could have took that oil and got some money off it, and here it is, you wasted it on washing Jesus' feet.
Yeah, no, Judas was at the place, we could have sold that. Judas it
was at the dinner.
We could have sold this and did
sorrowful.
that. But when you keep reading, it was not that Judas was concerned about selling it and giving to the poor. He was a thief.
Oh yeah.
He was stealing.
He didn't know that she had something of value that he could have scammed from. He was mad that he thought they didn't have none of that value.
No, he was more concerned about what he could get off of it.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He didn't know that she had something that valuable in her possession because he didn't get it. Like he would have stole it. He would have took it. Had he known that she had an oil that was worth. Now I preached this before. That oil today, if it was in today's modern times, it will be worth $28,000.
Yeah, he want that.
That's
bread.
Powerful.
He want
Back to
money.
Pastor Dwayne's point about currency. It wasn't always about bread like we look at it.
Yeah,
but that's our currency. We don't have expensive oils like that.
No,
but you got a job that gives you currency, and all God's asking for is a tenth.
Yeah, but in the tenth, and the reality of the tenth, that's an Old Testament principle, right? Which is the foundation. So that when you move over into the New Testament, give according to how God has blessed you. The reality is we should be giving more than a tenth.
Wow,
right? But the tenth, the tithe, the 10% is a foundation principle for us to give to God. a portion of what he's blessed us with. So when you mature in the things of God, when you understand that I'm shifting out of the law, and I'm into grace, I actually owe God more.
Wow.
Because the reality is God has blessed me more
than enough.
$1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right? So it is a matter of a heart, and this $20 is an offering. It was an offering. We weren't even talking about tithing.
No, it was an offering.
An offering.
A $20 offering.
A $20.
And you see, we heard 40,000. Them folk heard 40,000 and lost their mind.
Yeah.
He said, "This is easy. This is an easy miracle, y'all. We got this." And the responsibility. Now, let's talk about what he meant when he said, "Now, for those of you up here, y'all put that $20 away. I need y'all to do 100." And then he reached in his pocket, looked at somebody, and said, "I got you." So that means whoever it was that was maybe with him, I'm gonna give your 100 too.
Yeah.
So I want to clear that air up too. People was like, "Did he even give anything?" Yeah. We know he gave at least $200. Could have been more, but he peeled out on. He took it. He put. You know what I'm saying? So we know even, and I love that. I want to say that too for our viewers. I love to see, especially if I had special guests come preach for me. I would, when we raise the offering, I would almost, I ain't gonna lie, I would watch the special guests. If they didn't reach in their wallet, their purse, their pocketbook, and give an offering, I would never call them back to preach for me again. I'm sorry, bro. I was big on that. And let that be a note to you preachers that may be watching, you leaders in the faith. Do not be that person. Be like, "Well, I'm the special guest." And then, please lead by example. Right? That's important. Lead by example, because the congregants the sheep are watching you. And if you're not reaching in your pocket, so again, Bishop Sapp.
Yeah.
Again,
he stated he stated in one of his interviews that he gave $800 or $900 in offering already.
Oh wow!
Right. And then, of course, he led.
And he shouldn't even have to take. He shouldn't have to put that in. He shouldn't have to publicize that.
No, he shouldn't have did it, but he did to help push the narrative, the correct narrative, that leaders lead by example.
Yeah,
and that
that's what he meant when he told the leaders. Right.
It costs. They say it costs.
They went in on that.
It costs to sit up here. And if I could be real transparent,
please,
in this moment, and as a young pastor. And I was only pastor maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Like 2 years, then 2.5 years. Then the pandemic hit. And, man, I'm kind of embarrassed about this, but I'm going to be transparent. So.
Okay. Tell the truth, shame the devil, like my grandma used to say.
Yeah. So I go to one of these big services that they was raising money, and they was having a service for water drive and all these things. And so it's big time preachers all on the pulpit at this service. I'm talking
big dog,
the big dog. And I found myself sitting next to the big dogs.
What a moment!
Okay. Right?
Bring us into it.
I'm sitting right next to one of the who have one of the largest churches in Detroit, right? So now it comes to the offertory moment, and now they all have to, the pastors, they had to say this is what, and it was held at a Kojic church, and you know how they do the offering. You got to stand up and say what
your seed was. You had to announce what your seed was. $13.32. Amen.
Nah, I'm sweating bullets, bro. I'm sweating bullets because all I got.
And you better not lie. You better not.
You can't.
You better not fix your lips.
You can't lie.
Oh my
Bishop
God.
such and such 10,000, such and such 10,000, 5,000, whatever. I didn't have no church, no check for the church, and all whatever. I didn't even have it like that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All I had was I had $200 in my name. That's all I had was $200. I had $200.
Hey,
everybody's giving thousands.
Hey,
I had two. Pastor Logwood, 200.
Hey, look, you saw the big dogs whispering.
He got a little store.
I was so
embarrassed, right? Because I was like, dang. But it hit me, especially when I heard it costs to sit up here. right?
Now
That's
you know
why you can't
I don't want to get churchy. Your 200 was just as good as they 10,000, brother, because it's all you had. But
it's all that. But the reality, it costs. You want to sit in the big chair.
You want to be a leader so bad.
You gotta.
You want to be a big dog.
You want a big dog. You want to sit up here. It would.
Get your bank up.
You want to ride? You want to ride with these? You want to ride with the big dogs? Come on, sit up in there. And I sat up there and got embarrassed. So it costs. It costs leadership. It costs, and I love the fact that he led by example.
Mm-hmm.
And just the truth of the matter, ministry is a price you have to pay. And when you have a heart for ministry, you have a heart for God, you want to see the ministry and the work of God succeed. And the church cannot succeed without people contributing to the cause of the work of ministry.
To whom much is given,
much is required.
Much is required.
Yeah. So
I have after in our close, and I've enjoyed this dialogue because again, just to give a perspective from a pastor's perspective is what we're calling this episode this week. Pastor Logwood, if you had the opportunity to be, if you were tasked with this, instead of Bishop Sapp, and again, we understand that things were taken out of context. Bishop even said, yeah, he wished, he had handled the ushers a little differently. Even he admits it. Tell us what and how would you look in that camera and take us to that moment, like you're in Bishop's seat and you're there instead of Bishop Sapp. How would you have addressed? You got the note. We short 40,000. We need you to raise 40,000 for us. Go. Come on. Like, hey, you've been doing this now, 13 years now?
Listen. This is my 8th year, Pastor.
8th year? Well, you've been preaching longer than that, though, but yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
Go. Okay, I'm going to play it. I'm going to set up. You got the note. We need 40,000, Reverend Logwood.
We got to raise it 40,000.
What do you say to those online and those in the building?
I mean, I don't think I would have deviated so much from differently than he did, letting the people know that we have a budget we have to reach, right? There's $40,000 we got to hit tonight, and it's going to take all of us in there. But what I love about the fact that he did on the clip with Ricky Smiley, it was 5,000 people there, 5,000. I asked 1,000 people that was in the building.
Just a little over 10%.
Right. And 1,000 people down the line. To give you, I got 5,000 that I'm seeing, that I'm looking at. And I got thousands of people that's watching around the world.
Yeah.
I just need 1,000 of you in here.
He just simplified the math.
And 1,000 of you that's watching.
That don't even take all y'all to cooperate.
To give.
Let me get a good faithful 1,000.
20,000. Right? So I ain't even talking to
all y'all.
All y'all.
Yeah.
That comes, that hits to the fact,
that's
number
good.
one, that God never asks you for anything you don't have. God will never require anything that he has not given you. So to ask $20 from 1,000 people out of 5,000 people, it's a small portion, meaning I know at least 1,000
that in here can do $20.
$20.
That's 20,000. Right? And those of you that are online,
you can get
1,000 of you watching.
You can do that.
You can do it. It's easy.
I know you can do that. Then he goes to, because you ain't gonna leave here and you about to leave here and go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But you gonna go to the restaurant. I don't know what restaurants y'all go to, but when I go take my daughters, if we go to the fast food restaurant, that's $50.
Man, easy.
If I taking my wife,
man,
that's I'm out of one.
Man, don't get me started.
$400. So the reality is
you can't get a bucket of chicken, 2 biscuits, and no sides for under $38.
Yeah, we've been so conditioned
that's an 8-piece
to give more to everything else.
Yep, and pay it.
Without question.
Gas station these days, you paying $15 for 2 bags of chips.
It don't matter.
Two drinks.
You paying
and a candy
money
bar, maybe a pack of gum.
Without question. Without you're giving it.
You fuss
You
and fight,
paying it.
but you paying it.
Right, you paying it without a doubt, without a question. But when it comes to the man of God, ask, can I get 1,000 people to give $20? It is a problem.
Yeah.
Then it goes, well, he said lock the doors. First of all, he never said lock the door. That's how people who want to have an issue, right? They want to have a problem. So nowadays,
negative narrative.
They say something that he didn't say. They say he said lock the doors. Okay, no, he didn't say.
They
lock the
ran
doors.
with that.
He said shut the doors. Right? Okay. Yes, Bishop Marvin Sapp. Yes.
Yeah.
In that delivery, you could have rolled that back.
Yeah.
With an explanation.
Yeah.
A quick explanation. Can we please shut the doors? We have too many people walking during this time. This is a sacred moment.
Yeah.
This is worship. Giving is worship.
And we need your help.
We need
your help.
This is not a time
Yeah.
that we should be walking, because clearly as he's standing on the pulpit, he's looking at people exiting out the door, running out the door.
Because that's habit. That's
right?
just this is the way church culture
during
is.
that time. So him seeing that, he like shut the door, and the people, they weren't moving fast enough, because he said, "Why is people exiting in this sacrificial moment? We shouldn't be walking."
And it's
during
also
offering time.
disrespectful to whoever's talking in that moment too.
You can get up and just walk, right?
Yeah.
So yes, his tone in that, he can say, because he said it himself. So I'm not saying nothing that he did not confess to. That he could have wrapped that,
could have packaged it a little
bit different,
a
right?
little bit more love, a little bit more sprinkles and cinnamon.
You could have did that.
Unicorn dust.
Watch this though. I truly believe if he was at his church, if he was at another visiting church,
it'd have been a different.
He would have wrapped it differently.
Yeah.
But because he was at a convention center, because he was at people that
all
flew here,
y'all
know what's up.
Y'all all a part of this.
Yeah.
That you flew here. You know what time it is.
You know what it is.
And I like how somebody else said
in
in another interview, they said normally you go to these conventions, you're going with extra money. You've saved up all year because you know you want to sow every night. You know you're gonna be a part of anything they're asking you to do because it's part of the culture, people. Right? Yeah. So we thank you so much. Yeah. But Pastor Logwood, now if you want to visit his church, now I want to tell you, best friends or not, man, this is my brother from another mother, and his mama, I call her mama. So if you want to be a part of an awesome, phenomenal church service that I know God visits this church, I know God's presence is there, and their church of miracles, the ministry of miracles. Right. So he has great faith. People have been healed of cancer, tumors, all types of miracles. I mean, that I know for sure. Yeah. And this pastor, that's what he's about. And so if you want to connect to a ministry that you know that's preaching a good word, that has good worship, and miracles are performed on a regular basis. And what time is your prayer that you do on the phone?
7,
go ahead, give it to them, man. Yes, tell them everything they need to know.
You can connect every Monday.
Camera, the address and the start times of when your service is going to be at, man.
FMBC, the Ministry of Miracles, 24092 Bone Road, BOHN Road, Belleville, Michigan, 48111. FMBC is the place to be. Our service times at 11:14 a.m. Listen, be in Belleville. You don't want to miss it, man. We are the Ministry of Miracles for one reason. Miracles transpire here. So make your way to Belleville. You will not be disappointed.
Outstanding. We thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for taking the time out.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have you come back again, hopefully with the missus.
Absolutely.
One of these days, we're gonna have the missus join us, and because y'all know we be diving into these relationships. They're just newly married. They got 1 year under the belt now, right?
Almost. It'll be a year next month.
April.
May
5th. Dang, was it May 5th?
May. You know, I know.
I'm talking about. Dang, I thought it was April. All right. Well, they're going to be looking at a year. So we thank God for their union and so come back, y'all. But I hope you enjoyed this segment of Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast, episode 7. And this is Sip on This, the extended edition. We wanted to give a rebuttal to that viral video with Bishop Sapp and close the doors. All right. You guys have a great night. We'll see you next week at this same place, same time, every Monday, exclusively on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, listen, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. It only takes you 3 seconds. Once you log in to Live, Love, Laugh, it'll start coming up on the search bar. We are pretty excited about that. That means people have searched us up enough to where it will tell you the podcast. Click that, hit that little button that says subscribe. You're done. We don't need no money from you. We don't need we just need you to subscribe. Can you do that for your boy? Subscribe. Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast on YouTube. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Have a great night.